Being honest, I am struggling to keep up with my comic projects, and I know that a lot of you also are finding it difficult to find motivation. Hey, this is Cetriya, Cetriya, and today is day 0, the start of 100 days of making comics. But before we get into that, I just quickly want to say, how are you guys doing? Are you already abandoning your New Year's resolutions or whatnot? For the most part, like I said, I didn't really care so much to making New Year's resolutions, but I had quite a number of goals, and one of those goals is working on 100 days of making comics, just to kind of tidy up my comic making routine, especially since things always are trying to get into the way of you and your work. So first off, just want to quickly ask you guys your questions of what are your comic struggles? Maybe you have not maybe a comic, but a project that you're finding it kind of difficult to keep working on, and maybe it's not so much a lack of motivation, but it takes a bit to get yourself to do the work after doing all the other chores that life throws at you. So if you are new here, or new to that challenge, first off, I am an illustration, I make illustrations, I make comics. During the day, I work as a digital designer / CAD designer or whatnot at a headquarters of one of the major retailers, and at night I like to work on comics because quite frankly my day job is not it's not really that creative for me personally. It's a creative job, yes, but I won't get into that. So yeah, if you're new to my channel, that's what you're going to be expecting, stuff especially related to science fiction and comic making. If you are not new to my channel but you've never heard of the 100 days of making comics, I had previously tried to do this challenge and I stopped short at about day 80, and you might be thinking why. That is mostly because throughout the 80 so days there was a couple of days where I skipped a couple of days and I didn't want to do that. So the general rule of 100 days of making comics is you spend 100 days not skipping a day, but you spend 100 days for about 20 minutes each day working on your comic, and it could range from working on some of the cover art to writing down the script to making the thumbnails, all the way to the completion of however many pages you get to get done. So the point is working on it consistently and get into the habit of working on it. Now, what are my comic struggles when it relates to this challenge is mostly that I tend to work in a binge, and then all of a sudden I do a very long period of rest or not doing anything. I will confess that I will say in the last 2 months or so, 2-3 months, anytime I did have time, in a mixed way, it was lack of motivation, but also I just got caught up in reading a lot of comics lately and really enjoying reading those, and now I'm coming to the part where I'm starting to get the itch again to work on my own projects back again. My second problem comes with the fact that whenever I sit and rest for a long period of time, you go back to a project, I end up kind of like restructuring the story and stuff. And I did do this to Crossstar, and if you don't know what Crossstar is, it's my current webcomic. Links below if you want to check it out on either Webtoons or Tapas is where it's hosted. But yeah, and other things that I noticed, and it's good when you're starting, doing some projects. I am by no means not a professional, so there's a lot of bad habits that I know I have in me when I am working on my projects. I definitely have an issue of keeping on model, as they say in the animation industry, and that is typically when you draw the character, they should look the same throughout the pages, and I tend to do quite a number of style shifts, which usually tells you how I am feeling emotionally and physically when I'm working on something. So even though I can get myself to the drawing board, it's really difficult for me to get it to look exactly the same. But I'm hoping for this 100 days I develop good habits to help prevent me from not drawing correctly. But those are some of my goals for the 100 days of making comics. Like I said, it's to get me back into the groove and to kind of deal with my bad habits. So with that being said, for the most part of the 100 Days of Making Comics community, we post online. So if you look up YouTube, say 100 Days of Making Comics, you'll find that people post. And how people post all depends on them. Some do a weekly like studio or art vlog. Others upload whenever they remember to edit the videos, and some others upload on a daily basis, either a pre-recorded speed up video like you see me doing here, or they'll actually live stream for the 20 to 30 minutes that is needed for the challenge. For me, I know for a fact that for some days I will do just the 20 minutes 20-30 minutes just to complete the challenge, and then there's other days where I'll probably sit for the 3 hours to work on something, because once I get into something I really need to work on it. Other things that I know for a fact that I'll be working on is probably a little bit of my video editing. I want to improve my YouTube video editing. So with that, I want to ask you guys, besides what are your comic struggles, what is it that you would prefer me to do in terms of posting to YouTube? I know I gained a lot of subscribers either by those who found some of my marker videos, or I found a lot of subscribers from the 100 Days of Making Comics. So to the both of you guys, what are your preferences? Do you want me to upload a quick little less than 10 minutes videos on a daily basis, or do you want me to upload once a week, or something in between? I was thinking of uploading 4 days out of the week, so 2 of the videos will be covering 2 days, and then maybe on the 5th day or one of those extra days, I might just post just something that's not necessarily related to the 100 days, but something, just a break, you know. Sometimes just watching someone drawing comics can be just as tedious as, you know, sitting there and drawing the comics at times. So and then the last question basically to ask is, when I'm doing the 100 Days of Making Comics, I don't want to just comment on this is what I'm working today, but I also want to comment on maybe like a certain technique that I discovered or that I know to do, and maybe have some of those videos actually become kind of like a tutorial video to share you some of my process at the beginning, perhaps even not the whole video, but at the beginning of the video, and then later on discuss a little bit of what am I up to. And maybe not just tutorials, but also maybe some aspirations and maybe a couple of rants, because sometimes working on projects and not every day is going to be a good day, you know, and stuff. So maybe just sharing things like that, or combine it all, you know, together like a sort of studio vlog. So I'm really looking forward to your comments on these. In the last few videos, I've been getting some really good comments. I really appreciate them. I really appreciate the feedback. Also, even if the feedback is not directed to me, but maybe your thoughts on, you know, what do you find channels of value? What do you find interesting of challenges? Do you just like the fact that you're part of a community and we're all together just going through the trenches of getting a book done? Or perhaps you're not, you know, a comic artist yourself, but you're very interested in the behind the scenes or what people go through to get those lovely stories into your hands. So I look forward to the comments. And again, my main question is, what are your comic struggles, either as an artist or as a reader? I look forward to them. And this is day 0. So tomorrow, unless I'm unable to edit the video, should be day 1 of 100 Days of Making Comics. All the best to me, and all the best to you guys who are participating. Thanks.